From giving up everything to pursue the American dream, to starring in insanely cool projects with stars like Ethan Hawke, here's everything you need to know about Pedro Pascal. You might know him as Joel from The Last of Us, or Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones. But there's a lot more to Pedro than meets the eye. Did you know that the internet's favorite actor is actually a Chilean immigrant? Seriously, this guy has had quite a journey to get where he is today. Pedro's full name is actually Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal, and he was born in Santiago, Chile. His family had to flee the country when he was only a baby because of political unrest, and they eventually settled in San Antonio, Texas. From there, they moved to Orange County, California when Pedro was in middle school, so you can say he had quite a nomadic childhood. Now, Pedro's parents were into performing arts, and clearly it rubbed off on him. His dad was a doctor, but also a talented playwright, and his mom was a child psychologist who later became an actress. Talk about a creative household. Pedro soaked it all up, got into acting at a young age, was even a part of his school's drama club, and participated in a lot of plays. Despite the stress and hassle of moving around a lot, Pedro always found comfort in acting, and he even went on to study at the prestigious Tisch School of the Arts in the Big Apple. This set the stage, pun intended, for his amazing career in Hollywood. I guess you can say acting runs in Pedro's blood, and his unique upbringing definitely molded him into the brilliant actor he is today. But Pedro's road to showbiz wasn't as silky smooth as you might think. In fact, it was quite bumpy. While he was a struggling actor, Pedro had several different jobs, and believe me, not everything he did was a success. Case in point, waiting tables. Did you know that he was actually fired nearly 10 times from his job as a waiter? True story. He was brutally honest about his terrible performance as a waiter, saying, "If I liked you, I liked you. If I didn't, I didn't." Unfortunately, that attitude didn't work out too well in dealing with a bunch of customers, which is why he kept getting fired again and again, almost hitting double digits. Seriously though, can you imagine the charismatic Pedro Pascal struggling with waiting tables? I know I can. But long before Pedro was a struggling actor and getting canned from restaurants all over town, he was a competitive swimmer and even competed in the Texas State Championships when he was only 11 years old. Man, that's impressive. When I was 11, all I did was sit on the couch and play Game Boy. But everything changed in Pedro's teens, and he eventually dropped swimming for acting. When asked if he'd ever take up competitive swimming again, Pedro responded by saying, "I'm too lazy," which is something I can definitely relate to. Isn't it funny how life works out? Clearly waiting on people or swimming wasn't for Pascal, because he was meant to be a star. But before he became super famous for his role in The Mandalorian, he was just like any other actor, grinding away in smaller roles and hoping that something better would come along. Check out some of his early TV gigs that set him up for the big time. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Pedro popped up in popular shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, playing Eddie, a college freshman who ends up as a vampire. He also scored a part in Touched by an Angel, appearing as Ricky in the episode The Good Earth. From there, Pedro landed the role of Reggie Luckman in Law & Order: Criminal Intent in the episode Probability. These gigs might have been small, but they gave him the experience and exposure he needed to take his career to the next level. Eventually, he started getting bigger roles, like Nathan Landry in The Good Wife, a prosecutor who faces off with the show's main character, Alicia Florrick. Pedro also showed up in Graceland, playing Juan Badillo, an FBI agent keeping an eye on the main guy, Mike Warren. But what really made everyone sit up and take notice was Pascal's killer performance as Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones. That role got people talking and opened doors for even more amazing opportunities. Pedro's confident and charismatic portrayal of Oberyn left viewers wanting more. He quickly became a fan favorite, and that was the big break he finally needed. Suddenly, Pedro Pascal was as famous as ever. After his mind-blowing performance in Game of Thrones, Pedro's career soared high in the sky, just like the Valor. He snagged a leading role in the hit series Narcos, where he nailed the part of DEA agent Javier Peña. Narcos tells the real-life story of the notorious drug lord Pablo Escobar. It received rave reviews and marked a huge turning point in Pedro's career. During this exciting time, Pedro scored roles in a bunch of films, like The Great Wall, starring alongside Matt Damon, and in Kingsman, The Golden Circle, playing the super cool whip-cracking Agent Whiskey. These roles not only put Pedro's acting chops on full display, but they proved he could tackle any character thrown his way. The role that really put Pedro on the map, though, was when he was cast as the mysterious bounty hunter in Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. His amazing portrayal of the character, along with the show's massive success, put him firmly among Hollywood's elite. The show blew everyone's mind with its storytelling, jaw-dropping special effects, and a fresh take on the Star Wars universe. Pedro's uncanny ability to convey a whole range of emotions and depth, even with a helmet on, goes to show what an insanely talented actor he is. But guess what? He became famous when he was in his 40s. Now, it's not every day that you come across actors who find success later in their careers, but that's exactly what happened to Pedro. A late bloomer in the biz, Pedro's used this time to develop his craft and grow as an artist. In an interview, the actor talked about his steady rise in popularity, saying, "It's been so gradual that it feels like a natural evolution." He says the timing of his success couldn't have been better because it allows him to really appreciate the opportunities that come his way, and he's able to savor every moment. This late-blooming success has been a blessing in disguise for Pedro, helping him stay grounded instead of getting caught up in the crazy world of fame and all its drama. Pedro's journey is a reminder that success doesn't always have to follow a traditional timeline. But no matter how late Pascal might have been to the party, there's no denying that he's finally arrived. And even with his fame growing like crazy after The Last of Us, the dude's managed to stay super chill, down to earth. And he credits his family and friends for helping him keep things real and stay grounded. His family's support has been absolutely priceless, letting him navigate the wild ride that is Hollywood while staying true to himself. But I wouldn't be any good at my job if I didn't talk about how humble this man is. He's such a sweetheart and always takes time to interact with his followers on social media, showing them his love and gratitude. Whether it's through a touching Instagram post or a hilarious tweet, Pedro's connection with his fans is 100% genuine. In a world where fame can turn people into total divas, Pascal's a breath of fresh air. He's just a regular guy who loves his fans and doesn't take the journey he's been on for granted. How cool is that? I guess at this point, you're probably wondering what's next for Pedro, and luckily for you, I've got all the deets. His latest film, Tropico, is a psychological thriller featuring the iconic Willem Dafoe, and Pedro stars as Mark, a businessman in Brazil who's being spied on. But things get twisted when the spy falls for both Mark's wife Lucia and her identical twin sister Leah. Directed by Giada Colagrande, this super cool thriller is definitely one to watch out for. Speaking of spying, Pedro's landed a role in The Uninvited, a comedy film with a star-studded cast including Rufus Sewell, Elizabeth Reeser, and Walter Goggins. The movie's about a party that's disrupted by an unexpected guest, and it leads to total chaos. Sounds interesting. I'm in. Pedro will also appear in the film Freaky Tales, which is set in Oakland in 1987. The film features interconnected stories and stars Ben Mendelsohn and Euphoria's Angus Cloud. There's also My Dentist's Murder Trial, an HBO series where Pedro teams up with David Harbour from Stranger Things. Here, Pedro plays a dentist accused of murdering the husband of the woman he's having an affair with. Sounds like a whole lot of drama. And then there's Strange Way of Life, a short LGBTQ Western movie starring Pedro and Ethan Hawke. Directed by Pedro Almodovar, the film follows Pascal's character Silva as he visits his friend Sheriff Jake after not seeing him for 25 years for mysterious reasons. Look out for that one in 2023. And of course, if nothing else, we always have Season 2 of The Last of Us to look forward to. Am I right? So there you have it. From starring in insanely cool projects with icons like Ethan Hawke to sacrificing everything for his dream of acting, that's everything you need to know about Pedro Pascal.